Hello Wolfpack, back in the saddle today, back at the office, back in the desk after a little trip away. Just got back and I thought I'd update you guys on the whereabouts of the markets and where we'll be going next and what's going on just in general, and especially going into something like the weekly close, which will be occurring in, let's see, about 11 hours here. I was thinking of delaying that video until the 11-hour point at the weekly close, but there are a few important things we need to be looking at before that point, just to keep you guys aware of what's actually going on, and one of which being the actually direction of the weekly close, what the candle looks like, for example, and then also looking into things like, well, where are we on the weekly close? What have we lost on the weekly close? What does that tell us about the future? Where does that indicate where they're going to be going next, right? What I can say decisively, really, is that this is an evening star weekly candle close formation, candlestick formation, right? Very bearish formation. You can see that. Let me just delete all these indicators here so you can see it quite clearly, and I'll hide these ones for you quickly. What we can see is that on the weekly, we saw one big green candle, we saw a red doji, and then currently, it's not confirmed yet, but most likely this is how it's going to play out. We're going to be seeing a pretty strong red candle, not as big as the first green candle. It's an evening star formation, the opposite of a morning star formation. Very bearish formation, usually leads to a downside continuation about 72% of the time, according to some studies we've been doing in the Crypto Academy that is going to be coming out shortly. Go ahead and check out the announcement group in the Telegram link in the description below, of course. You can see all the latest updates and also get access to a pre-order sale as well. But that's an evening star formation there. So if that candle closes like that, not only is it bearish for the candlestick, but if we jump back to a weekly chart like the BLX, for example, what we can also see is that we're not only getting a bearish candlestick formation, we're also seeing that we might be, again, not confirmed yet, but this is the most likely scenario, losing the bull market support band and losing the 50-week SMA, both of which we gained for support recently, right? So that's extremely bearish. Now, I speak about the 50-week SMA very extensively on my channel. We broke above it. Everyone was like, well, you said we'd be bullish if we broke above it. What's this? Well, I noticed there was weakness, and so I'm not going to flip bullish automatically, right? I'm going to actually now analyze, and we did. We analyzed it. We said it didn't look good, and now we've actually broken back below it in a strong evening star formation candle. What would I call that? I would call that a big fake out. Why? Well, a lot of people would have taken the logical approach, just like myself, and thought that, hey, if we break the 50-week SMA, that's an instant buy signal. I noticed that was going to happen. I noticed that we're going to see that instant buy signal, and I noticed that, hey, it might be fake, and that's why I identified on the daily chart that very few people have managed to identify beforehand that we had this ascending channel formation. I noticed the descending volume in this ascending channel formation, and I noticed that it actually wasn't a breakout. It was still below resistance, and the major zone we needed to actually break out of was the 200-day SMA, right, which we didn't do. We actually rejected off of it on two separate candles at 48K and swung all the way back down. So that's why, guys, even when you say something over and over again, this is what needs to happen, this is what needs to happen, if it happens and you're not confident in it and you're not confident it's going to play out, you have to trust your instinct. You have to trust the actual analysis in the time. People always say, well, last March, a year ago, you were calling for a blah, blah, blah on this random coin. It's like, well, things change. That's the whole point of investing. We have to adapt. And we adapted to that and it worked out perfectly. But the point is, we've got that weekly candle close coming in 10 hours or 11 hours. We've lost the 50-week. We've probably lost the bull market support band as well. When you see that happen, you don't really see good things in the months that follow. And this kind of further consolidates the opinion that is coming into a fact now at this point with the data we're seeing here, that we're in a bear market, right? We've been in a bear market for a long time. Been in a bear market since late November. I mean, realistically, probably December was the first time you could confidently say it was a bear market. But, this is a bear market, and I would say that coming above this resistance, like the 50-week, like the bull market support band, and then dropping back below is probably even more bearish than just projecting off of it, because it shows that, hey, you can get above it, but there's literally no buying pressure coming in, even when you get above it, which is when everyone should be buying. And so you drop back below, it's even more bearish. I would say the market is looking very weak right now, and I don't really understand. I've looked into bullish arguments quite extensively. Of course, I want to be bullish. Again, I've said many videos, I make more money if it's bullish. So obviously I'm going to want it to be bullish. But the point is, it's not bullish right now. We've lost that 50-week. We've lost the bull market support band. Coming into the MACD, it's flattening out just like it did in 2018. The bullish MACD cross is basically weakened to the point of no return here. When we see this red daily weekly candle close, that's going to be completely flat, just like 2018. If we flip over to something like the 3-day chart, what we can see happening is the 50 SMA and the 200 SMA in 2018 compressed to the point of when they finally met, they finally saw that death cross. We absolutely crashed downwards. We can see a crash from around 6K all the way down to 3K. 50% crash in about 3.5 months there when they met after a strong period of compression, right? As you guys would know, we're acting in a very similar fashion we were in the 2018 bear market. The 50 and the 200 are compressing the price quite massively, and these things will connect at some point. As of this point, as of right now, this could change, but as of right now, we see no reason to believe it's gonna do anything different than it did in 2018. If it does continue that trend, we will be seeing, again, just like 2018, a reasonable crash. Maybe not 50% because the market cap is much bigger now. Say, I don't know, look, to 24K, it would be a 40% drop, right? And when will these things connect with each other? Well, let's see, right? They will be connecting with each other. And just taking a rough prediction here, just like 2018, they'll be connecting with each other in around May, okay? And then our November bottom prediction would be coming in at about, so we've got, let's see here, around 6 months after that, right? So in 2018, we took, for example, from November all the way to around December, we took about 1.5 to 2 months to bottom out, and we lurked in that region for a while. So look, again, 4-year cycle, I'm getting a bit off track here, but 4-year cycle kind of suggests that Bitcoin bottoms out in November or December. This kind of thing going on in the 3-day chart suggests Bitcoin bottoms out probably as early as, I don't know, June or July. But again, none of this is particularly accurate. What we can say is that the direction is downwards. As to whether date it will be, it's quite, inaccurate. It's a bit of a situation in which you've got a very limited amount of data and you just have to make vague predictions, right? What we can say is it's probably going to be this year, and it's probably going to be towards the end of this year. That's what we can say, or the second half of this year. But, overall, this weekly candle close, and the whole point of this video is just to kind of say before this weekly candle closes, has consolidated the fact that Bitcoin is in a very bad position. And if we look at something like the total cryptocurrency market cap, we can see that, well, this is like the light at the end of the tunnel that's kind of forming here for the bulls, right? This is the one chart that I can see that is still remaining bullish. Why is that? Well, we saw this triangular formation. In fact, we saw a bearish pennant formation into a major uptrending level of support that lasted about 4 months. We broke that to the upside, as you can see. We've come back down. We haven't quite lost it yet. We're actually holding it for support right now. If we see a swing upwards, that would be a massive bullish retest, and that would be a massive move to the upside. However, I'm seeing an overwhelming amount of bearish evidence and a very minimal amount of bullish evidence. So even though this chart looks very good, and it looks very good from a technical analysis perspective, I understand that there are multiple factors at play here that go beyond what the total cryptocurrency market cap is doing in terms of a triangle. And one of those factors would be the S&P 500, which is recently rejected from major resistance, the DXY, which is breaking out at a massive speed. We have seen a shooting star formation, that said, so that could be a reversal point. But bond yields, for example, as interest rates are continuing to spike, have blasted to 1.77%, just about 6 months ago they were at 0.1%, right? This stuff is crazy to see. And if you have an understanding on macroeconomics, you can understand that this stuff is not a good sign. It could be a good sign for the short term, and we've covered this topic recently, very recently in multiple videos. About how when you see yield curve inversion, again, if you don't know what these words I'm saying are, don't worry about it. You can kind of understand the general premise of it. Yield curve inversion, you generally see an irrational bounce on the S&P 500, which leads to an irrational bounce on all risk on assets. So Bitcoin, for example, might have a period in which it bounces again. It bounces up to, say, I don't know, high 40Ks. Who knows? It's hard to say. But the point is, if that does happen, you need to understand it's from irrationality, not from actual logical price action that's going to sustain past that irrational price action, right? And we were able to identify that on the break of the 50-week SMA. When we broke 46K, we were able to identify that this isn't actually real price action. This will lead to a rejection, and hence it did. And so I suppose the point of this video is just to tell you that we'll keep an eye on that weekly candle close, 11 hours until the weekly candle. By the time this video gets out, it might be 10.5 hours. You need to be keeping an eye on the 50-week, keeping an eye on the bull market support band. If we lose both of those in that evening star formation, that will be another nail in the coffin for the bulls and another failed rally, and I will be accepting apologies because I copped a lot of abuse for being honest and being logical in this area. But that just is a message to you guys as well. You have to be honest and logical. You can't let other people determine where you are, and you also can't let that team mentality get to you, right? So if I was to sit here, for example, using myself as an example here, and be like, well, everyone's attacking me for being bearish, I'm going to go on team bear now. I'm going to be a bear. I'm going to fight back against the bulls. You're choosing a team. You're creating a personal bias, and you're seeing the market through a perception in which you need to be bearish constantly, and hence you're not going to look at the bullish charts, right? That's the thing that differentiates a bad trader from a good trader, a bad analyst from a good analyst. You need to be able to see the market from a non-biased perspective, understand what the data is, understand what the charts are saying, and not let as little amount of personal bias into that as possible, because once you have personal bias, you start making bad decisions. But ultimately, not looking good. I'm going to be making a more extensive update tomorrow once I've looked into the charts a bit more. Again, this is a preliminary update. I haven't looked into the charts a massive amount. I've just got home from a bit of a trip. But ultimately, yeah, not looking good. Daily charts interesting to watch. We have met our target at 42k after the rejection, and you'll remember this if you watched my videos a few days ago. After the rejection here at 48k, I said we're going to be swinging downwards to around 42. We have reached that 42k target, and so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of a bounce in the short term, maybe to 44k, something like that. But ultimately, yeah, I think the target is downwards towards the bottom of this channel, which is going to be at around 39k in the short term. So let's see how that plays out. And I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for sticking around. I hope I didn't leave you hanging too much there on the break, but I'm back in business now, back to get ready, starting WOC exclusive. Again, just one more time, a quick reminder, the Crypto Academy will be going live at some point. I don't want to say when, but very soon. And we've got an announcement channel on Telegram in the pinned comment below. You can go ahead and check that out and join it. I've got about 100 members in there. I'm keen to get some more. If you're willing to learn, you want to put in the time and the effort to learn technical analysis, me and Megawell Crypto, some of the best analysts in the space, if I may say so myself, have put together or are putting together currently and almost just putting in the final touches, a great course in which you can learn technical analysis. Again, don't want to spoil too much, but there is a brief description of it in that Telegram group. Go ahead and check it out. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.